Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. So this story is another example of, I believe, certain organizations just taunting women, certain activists who have been strategically put in place to taunt us, because I cannot think of any other explanation. So 2 years ago, or 3 years ago now, I guess, a man who identifies as a woman was appointed as CEO of a charity for endometriosis. And because of backlash about that, this person was removed from that role. I believe the backlash had a lot to do with it. But now he's back and has been given a new role as part of this endometriosis charity. This is a man who claims to identify as a woman, no longer CEO, but has been appointed a new role. And this isn't somebody who has a background in, gynecology or anything like that. This isn't a doctor. This is somebody who's saying that he can relate to the issues that women face, to something as debilitating as endometriosis, because he identifies as a woman. And they believe that this person is the appropriate person to be a part of this charity. So this was in 2023 when he was appointed as CEO.
A charity that supports women with endometriosis is facing a backlash after appointing a trans woman CEO.
Endometriosis South Coast helps women who suffer from the painful condition of the womb, which is where tissue similar to the lining of the womb grows in other places. Well, their new CEO is Steph Richards, who's a Labour activist and a trans woman.
Joining us now is Maya Forsyther, Executive Director of Sex Matters. Thanks for joining us, Maya. I barely know where to start here. I've got nothing against trans women. They should do any old job they like, I guess, and live the lives they want to live. But here we have an organisation dedicated to a very painful condition suffered by people with wombs who are otherwise known as women, biological females. Why would an organisation devoted to endometriosis appoint someone who doesn't have a womb, a trans woman? Why would they do that?
Honestly, I think they're trolling us. That's what I thought when I first saw it. They're a very small organisation, and they appointed Steph. They didn't advertise the role. They invited Steph to become the CEO. So I think in some ways they wanted this reaction, is all I can think, because this is a 70-year-old man, and I'm going to call him a man and I'm going to call him he, who, he's not a gynecologist. He's not a man who is an expert in this field. He's a man who wants to be treated as a woman. And that it's just inexplicable, other than to cause this reaction.
So I absolutely agree with Maya there. We are being trolled, and they continue to troll us. This has been going on for a very long time now. We've seen men cosplaying pregnancy, claiming to have period pains.
Just a PSA to all my fellow trans girls out there on estrogen. We do in fact get periods. We do. Today, I have just been dealing with awful cramping, and that's probably going to continue for the next couple of days if my previous track record is anything to go on. Yeah, it's not fun. I can't imagine adding bleeding on top. Who would have thought that I used to be jealous of getting a period?
Trans women have periods, and that fills me with great relief, because that was really scary pain that I've never experienced before in my life. The gut-wrenching, but it also fills me with quite a lot of empathy for women who have dealt with this their entire lives, because I never could have fathomed that period pain was that bad. So good on you guys for living.
Obviously, we're talking about males who do not have a womb and do not experience the shedding of the lining of the womb, and certainly do not experience endometriosis or polycystic ovaries syndrome. Those are things they do not have to worry about. They may have their own issues as men that men have to deal with that pertain to the male body, but clearly that which pertains to being a woman, to being a female, is something that they will never understand and never experience. I don't care what drugs they are on. No womb, no period pains, no endometriosis, no polycystic ovaries syndrome, no menopause. Whatever side effects from the drugs you're taking that is damaging your body is not a result of having a womb, is not a result of having the lining of your womb shedding and attaching itself to other things and shedding while attached to your bladder and all the horrific pain that comes from that. But yet this person has been appointed to this new role. So human rights activist Steph Richards, 73 now, has been handed the role of a Parliamentary Engagement Officer for Endometriosis South Coast. So in this new role, this person is going to represent the charity to members of Parliament while continuing to act as chief executive for trans campaign group Translucent, which was founded by Steph Richards. So Amanda Craig, author of novels such as The Lie of the Land and The Golden Rule, compared it to a white person speaking on behalf of black people. Miss Craig, who has previously suffered from acute endometriosis, told The Times the appointment was absolutely ridiculous. She added, "It was as ridiculous as someone purporting to speak for black people when they're white. It's fundamentally discordant and wrong, even if it comes from a good place and wanting to help women. This is a mockery." And of course, women who suffer from this condition, women who have conditions that only women can experience, are speaking up about this. And they are offended and have every right to be offended because this is highly offensive. This is not for the betterment of women. This is to push an agenda. This is to make a point. And this is to appease men who claim to identify as women, to affirm their so-called gender identity. While women face this debilitating condition for decades of their life and pray every day to no longer have to deal with it, we have men who cosplay certain conditions that only pertain to women, who see these conditions as validation for them. To them, it gives them some sort of gratification to pretend to know what women go through when it comes to the female body. But for women, it's debilitating. Their lives are on hold every month. It is extremely painful, and it's something that we do not want to experience. And many have tried everything to overcome these conditions. Endometriosis South Coast said it was scientifically inaccurate to claim only women experience endometriosis and that it also affects trans, non-binary, and intersex people. And as we know, science has taken a real beating over the years, over the decades now, because of this ridiculous ideology. And they have made a mockery of science, of basic science.
Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people with many identities, but
Can men get pregnant? Can men get pregnant? Can men get pregnant?
Science and evidence should guide medicine.
Do science and evidence tell us that men can get pregnant? Biological men, can they get pregnant?
I also think yes/no questions like this are a political tool.
Even doctors, or those who claim to be doctors, have embarrassed themselves because they have bowed to this ideology. So a recent survey by Endometriosis UK found that 39% of respondents reported needing to visit their GP 10 times or more before the condition was suspected. Samantha Smith, she said, "I have polycystic ovarian syndrome and a genetic predisposition for endometriosis. The pain gets so bad, or I lose so much blood that I pass out, hemorrhage, or end up in hospital. I might not be able to have kids because of it. I am sick of men cosplaying our suffering. A man can identify as a woman, but he will never be female. Endometriosis and PCOS are debilitating conditions which affect 1 in 10 women. Women, only women. You will never feel the heartbreak of miscarrying a child, the agony of dysmenorrhea, the fear of being told as a teenager that the biological process your body was built for will cause decades of pain and suffering. Our biology is not your label. Our suffering is not your kink. Our bodies are not your costume. If a straight, cisgender woman was hired as a transgender representative, the trans community would be outraged. So why is it okay for a man to be hired for a woman's job? We deserve advocates and representatives who actually understand us. Our bodies, our disease, our choice. If you were born with a penis, you will never know what it's like to be a woman. Stop fetishizing the female experience. Very, very well written there. No, men cannot experience endometriosis, PCOS, pregnancy, menopause. They cannot experience any of that. And those things are not to be played with, are not to be mocked. And any charity that claims to represent endometriosis that is complicit in the mockery of such a condition clearly is just completely contradicting itself. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video. And thank you to those who have hyped my videos. It is much appreciated.